I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You.
Hi, I'm George Malacos, and this is my CCR for my film legacies. Throughout this project, there have been its ups, but mostly downs. The only thing that really stayed consistent is that I knew I wanted to include my close friends. I wanted to include my friends because they're all like a family to me. And even though we're not blood related, I know no matter what, we will always be there for each other. I wanted to keep the characters semi-close to my friends' personalities so it would be easier for them to act in the parts and so they could be themselves throughout filming. The three main films that really inspired the storyline of my film are Grown Ups, Tag, and Fast and Furious. The family aspect of these movies has always really touched me, and I've always related to them because, for most of my life, the friends I have now have been my family. Another thing I really like about these movies is they express that aspect of family through comedy, action, and adventure. One thing that I really wanted to express throughout my film is to open your heart and trust those around you, and let the people that want to be there for you be there. My film is about a group of lifelong friends who have been with each other since high school, but drifted apart after college when they all went their own ways and started their own families and lives away from each other. But around 5 years after college, they decided to get back together like the good old days. The film started off with a short montage of photos of the boys in high school and college. Then the film fast forwards 5 years as Log, Keith, and Felix arrive at the house. George walks outside and greets the three boys. When George and the boys are reunited, I made sure to make the hugs and handshakes as dramatic as possible to show the viewer how much they really missed each other and how close they still are after 5 years. In the next scene, the boys are out back on the patio catching up and having small talk while they wait for Jace to arrive. After a little bit of talking, George asks the boys, "Where's Jace?" Log then replies, "Yeah, he said he had some important business to do." This makes the viewer wonder what happened to Jace and what business he needed to take care of, and if he's in any sort of danger. George then goes on to call Jace to see if he's okay. Jace is really short and careful with what he says on the phone to George. The screen then goes black as the viewer hears a car crash. George hears this with the viewer and begins to get worrisome as he hears sirens pass. Then, in the final scene of my 2 minutes, is a foggy screen with red and blue police lights as the viewer hears the sirens approaching. This is to make the viewer worry and wonder what happened to Jace.
Hello? Jace, what just happened? Is everything okay?
My final product challenges the average lighting conventions for the action-adventure-drama genre. For example, normally the action-adventure genre uses open-faced fixtures for hard lighting and dark shadows. They do this to add suspense and hide certain things that the viewer should have to focus harder on to see. Whereas in my movie, I use natural lighting. I wanted to use natural lighting for a couple of reasons. One reason I wanted to use natural lighting is to make my movie seem more realistic. Another reason is that the first 2 minutes of my movie are not too dark. But if you look closely as the film goes on, the lighting gets darker and the shadows are heavier to convey that something bad is about to happen. My final product uses the conventions for the action-adventure genre in a weird way. For example, instead of having a set hero, villain, and victim, I had Jace as the victim, the events that happen in the film as the villain, and Log, Keith, Felix, and George as the heroes. Log, Keith, Felix, and George are the heroes because they're the ones helping Jace get over the negative events that are thrown at him. Another convention I use is plot twists. For example, I had a plot twist early on in my movie. The plot twist was in my first 2 minutes. The plot twist is when the movie starts off, it seems like it's just going to be a calm movie about friends reuniting until Jace does not show up to the barbecue and is secretive about where he was. And then Jace gets into a car crash. My product engages with my target audience of females and males ages from 12 to 55 that enjoy movies like Grown Ups, Tag, and Fast and Furious. My audience consists of pretty much anyone who enjoys action movies or family drama movies. And since my audience's age varies, I had to make sure my movie was not too immature and to make sure it was not too mature. So I had to find a happy medium. Another thing I had to account for was how gruesome the movie would be, because I did not want parents to not let their children watch it because it was too gory, but I also did not want the older audience to not watch it because it looked too unreal or cartoonish. If I were to continue to make my film, I would distribute it by selling merchandise, posting trailers to YouTube, and by making billboards. In my trailer, I will put the most interesting, intense, and funny parts of my movie. I will put these aspects of my movie into the trailer to grab the attention of viewers. I would also put commercials for merchandise on TV so people knew where to buy the merchandise. Throughout my project, my production skills have increased tremendously. Throughout the production process of my movie, I quickly realized that some of the shots I wanted to incorporate in my movie were almost impossible with the tools and the technology that I had. Another thing that I realized pretty quick is that some of the scenes that I wanted to include were just too long for the short 2 minute time period given. But due to these factors, I learned how to cut certain clips without cutting the message of the clip out. Another thing I learned from these factors is how to be more creative to get certain shots. For example, in all of Jace's scenes, I had to duct tape the phone to the rear view mirror to get the shot that I wanted. But even though I was becoming more and more creative, there was still some shots that I was just unable to get. So each and every idea I had to consider if I could accomplish the shot with the tools and resources given. So I guess I also learned how to make better decisions from the setback. Throughout my project, I integrated technologies into it by using iMovie to cut, edit, and add music to my clips, my phone to record all my clips and stay connected with my actors and teacher, my computer to access iMovie and Canvas. iMovie allows you to use different transitions, sound effects, backgrounds, and songs. My phone made it super easy to get handheld shots and all sorts of different shots in various places and locations, due to how super small and lightweight it is compared to a normal camera. And my laptop made using iMovie so much easier since I could see all the options it gave me on the bigger screen, instead of looking at my little iPhone screen. Overall, if I could use any software editing, I'm sure I'd still probably use iMovie. Sure, it took a little bit getting used to, but after you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy and it lays out all the formats to you. So all you have to do is add your own content and let the magic begin. Now that I have finished my movie, there are some things that I would have done a little bit differently. One of the things that I would have done differently is I would have made a little group chat with all of my actors to find a day or two that works for everyone to film. I say this because the day we had set to film, my friend who's also in media studies and in my project was planning on filming that day too. So we had to film both of our projects in one day, and filming for both movies was very rushed, so I didn't get the exact shots that I wanted. But overall, I think we made it work. Another thing I would have done a little differently is I wouldn't have used the original sounds from the clips, because all the background noise like the pool, the wind, passing cars, dogs barking, and other distracting noises made it hard for the viewer to hear what was being said by the actors in my movie. The reason I didn't record the audio separately is because by the time I noticed that the audio was a little shaky, all my actors had gone home, and I had already started to edit my movie. A third thing I would have done is give myself a little bit more time to edit and film my movie. If I'm being honest, I kind of waited until the last couple days to edit and film my movie. And the day that I had given myself to edit, I had a family emergency that popped up and it set me back a day. But I learned my lesson to manage my time better and keep myself from procrastinating. One of the final things that I wish I would have done a little bit differently is I wish I could have added a little bit of comedy to my film. Even though this isn't necessary for complete success, I think it would have made my 2 minutes a little bit more enjoyable and made my film a little bit more interesting. Overall, I am pretty proud of the way my movie came, and I'm proud of how much I learned throughout the process. I really appreciate all my friends and family that helped me and pushed me to keep working no matter what and no matter how tired I got. Thank you.
George, Logan, you're gonna say, I don't know, he's being super weird and secretive about it, right?
Say he's being super weird.
And then I'm gonna say, should we call him? And then George, you should know your line. All right? You know what you're saying?
But I want to say it first.
You're gonna say, I don't know, have you talked to him in the field?
Yeah, and I'm the first one I talk.
And then I'm gonna say, no, have you logged? And you're gonna say the important business. And then George.
Boom.